It's the Cowboys Show and OG State of Mind. I'm your man, T. Drake.
And I am Coach T, and we are I-70 Entertainment, straight from Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, Cowboy Nation.
Welcome, familia. Another week.
Another L. It's tough
Week
out
9
here,
is in the book. Can you believe we already to week 10 of the season?
it's crazy. The way this season going, I can't wait till we get to week 17. Gosh, freaking dog.
You ain't joking about that, Coach. It was another tough one.
Yeah.
Another tough one. Another week where we didn't get any of the guys back off of the injury list that we thought might be active.
Right.
But we had to go with what we had out there.
That's what we
Mike
do.
McCarthy, before the game, he talked about he liked the game plan that we had. Dak said he liked the game plan. It's just another week that we went out and we didn't execute. So for a
Can't put
score,
it in.
yeah, score of 21-27, Cowboys fall short. You know, Cowboys have a kind of a way of kind of at the end of the game making it appear like it was a closer game than
Every time,
than what it was. We ended up going for an onside kick that didn't prevail. So it is what it is. Cowboys fall to a 3-5 record.
Yeah.
So we talked about last week about was the season over? Last week, I think both of us were on that teeter-totter, kind of, wanting to believe that the season wasn't over, hoping that this week probably was a must win
Oh, we knew it was a must win.
going into the Falcons and the Titans behind them. So we didn't get it done. So Cowboys Nation, we want to kind of talk about this game, what we've seen. We're going to always talk about some positives that we've seen. But the bigger thing I want to talk about is where do we go at from now? From here, I should say. Where do we go at from here, looking at what could be a season where we're not playing for anything? Big story is going to be Dak Prescott. Announced today he's going to be out several weeks with his injury.
Yeah.
So
Getting a second opinion.
yeah, get a second opinion, but it doesn't look well. I've even heard whispers of that they were thinking about maybe even moving to the IR list, which means that he would definitely be out at least 4 games. So, but let's talk about the game, Coach, and we'll talk more about the situation with Dak, what we're going to do as far as our backup quarterback. So we'll dive into more of these things, Cowboy Nation. So let's get it going. Let's talk about what you've seen, Coach, from the offensive side of the ball. One thing that I think was a bright spot was for us that we finally got Rico Dowdle a little bit more carries, got him a little bit more involved in the offense. But to me, it's just a little too late. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. I know that's your guy. You've been calling for him all season.
Absolutely. And he only got 12 carries, but he did touch the ball in the passing game a few times. He got 5 catches for 32, but he was 12 for, 75, 6.3 a clip. We don't have any identity, period. I don't know if we're a running team. I don't know what type of passing team we are. We talked about this last week that we're a better run-blocking team, offensive line. We have a better run-blocking offensive line. But, again, we choose to put that thing in the air. It is what it is. I mean, like I said, we don't have what is our go-to? Is it the funky play action or is it the daggone jet sweep? That every once I saw CD in motion, who didn't know he was going to get the ball on the 4th down?
Yeah, I would question the play call. You say on that situation, you take a timeout. You bring everybody over. You try to get the right play. I don't like the call.
No.
I think with 1 yard, you have to be physical enough to be able to get 1 yard. You get behind your best lineman and you go get that yard. But yeah, and looking back at it in hindsight, it looked like the play would have actually worked, or probably would have been a big one. It still would have got his block. Sounds like they wasn't on the same page.
Yeah, but we saw we ran the same play the next possession, and I guess that's he's supposed to let that guy go free so the guy collapses down. But like I forget who was calling our Greg Olson. He pointed out that 55 was in a 2-point stance so he could see the motion coming and be ready for it. Yep. But still, every time he goes in motion or Turpin goes on, we're going to give him the ball. We can fake or just, like you said, just pound it.
Yeah, Coach, you make a great point. Like the play calling has been suspect. It's kind of like we're searching. We don't know. We don't have, like you said, we don't have an identity. So nothing that we're going out there that we're doing looks like we're doing with purpose. So yeah, that was another one, Coach. But just looking at it, like I know it's only how many carries that you say that Dowdle had?
12.
12 carries. But I looked at it. I looked at what Bijan Robinson was averaging, which was 4.5 yards a carry. And then you look at your man, and he was up over 6 yards.
Yeah.
So,
and only got it 12 times.
And only got it 12 times. So you know how good Bijan Robinson is as a running back. I really like him. I think he's going to be a great one. But, I mean, you look at our guy, he didn't get as many carries, but he's averaging more. And I think the thing of us getting the ball out into him into the flats, into space where he can run, that made it even seem like he had more carries. But his fingerprint was on the game.
No, absolutely.
I think he probably, from the offense besides Ferguson, probably was one of the two best players offensively for us in that game.
Easy.
CJ. CD, after struggling with that shoulder injury, it really was hard for him to get going. And, we know it. We've seen it. We're in week 10. We've seen 9 weeks of football, and we know teams are going to take CD Lamb out of it.
Yeah, make somebody else beat him.
Right. So it's more the same thing with the offense. We're running, I think our average plays was like 3.7 yards with Dak just throwing the ball. So a lot of dinking and dunking. Ferguson had a lot of success when we got him the ball.
Moves.
Right. And so, things like that, I thought we did good with getting Ferguson the ball, but it's just like, when you can't complete third downs, Cowboy family, 3 for 13.
Come on.
And you tell me where you're going to win a football game at. 3 for 13 on third down conversions. Just
Hey, and we started 0 for 4 on fourth down. We finished 1 for 5.
that fourth down call. The one with the punt, man. This is Bush League. This is comedy. This is Saturday morning Pee Wee football, man. I believe they said
It was the top of the third too, wasn't it?
I believe they said it was a back shoulder throw
That man got the ball just
to C.J. Goodwin.
Come on, man. This is bad, man. You
can't make
got to
this shit
laugh
up.
from crying, man.
You can't make this
bad out here.
And desperate, man. You got to imagine, man. Mike McCarthy. The guy's desperate, man. He's fighting for my life. Out there fighting for his life, man. But
he ain't doing it. He ain't putting up a big fight.
Yeah,
boy.
man.
Gosh,
It just doesn't look good, guys. And so you talk about on the offense side of the ball, it really what it was. Cowboys are always first and second down, not having success. You put us in third down situations. We're not blocking. As my guy always says, you got a twist, stunt. Every team runs on us, and for some reason,
it gets through.
We just can't pick it up, man.
That's bad. Man.
Just can't pick it up. And we talk about on the defensive side of the ball real quick. Defense is just, it is what it is. I mean, our defense is just not good. We have troubles, as always, stopping the run. I thought Overshawn, some of the things that they did was shooting him and him finding gaps. Looks like he's out there getting better. He's smelling and sensing plays. But it's just too much, too little. I mean, Carson comes back in, plays the corner opposite of Diggs, and just a lot of times just in big third down situations, just not able to get it done.
Cushion. Oh, my goodness.
Cushion a little bit too much. Probably, just not comfortable, not feeling confident in himself coming back out there, and he just gave up a little too much. And then the tackling. We are one of the worst teams, or second to the last worst team in tackling. We just do not tackle people. We cannot get people on the ground for some reason. And, you're trying to get off the field just like another one. I don't mean to pick on Carson, but you had a nice third down play where all you had to do was come up, make the tackle. And you ole. And guy goes around you, gets a big gain, and instead of getting off, here we go. And, before you know it, they've got London in the back of the end zone over Diggs over top of him, and just didn't make plays.
No, not at all on either side of the ball, man. But Diggs played well. I mean, he had good coverage there. He battled through some injuries. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but
we talked about it because we was watching the one play where it looked like he was injured. I think the coaches was trying to get him off the field, and instead of him coming off, he waved him off. And next play, they run the little screen, and he don't get off top. It took him so long to get lined up.
Right,
he didn't know where he was at, and they took full advantage of it.
Oh, absolutely, and he tried to come underneath. Instead of going over top.
Mooney.
Oh, yes.
Mooney. So
gave up the easy.
Yeah,
easy
man.
touchdown.
Cowboys is frustrating. You see Mike McCarthy on the sideline slamming down the Microsoft projector as far as where you watch the plays on. It's just, I mean, the whole emotions, of the team on the sideline, their demeanor. you can just tell we're a defeated football team. So Cowboys now fall to 3-5. We have to start thinking about what we're playing for. With Dak going out, and this team now, some would think that you would think the next progression would be to bring in Cooper Rush as your second string quarterback. I'm not so sure about that. I'm under the thinking that if I have to play out the season and I know I don't really have a realistic chance of playing for anything, why not start to evaluate some of these young guys? And I would think that Trey Lance would be one of the guys you would at least want to see. You done gave up a fourth pick.
Yeah.
I mean, give me your thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we talked about this. We know what we're going to get from Cooper Rush. We're 3-5 right now. How much are we expecting to go on a win streak? We've lost 3 in a row here. We've got Philadelphia, who's ready to kick our teeth in. After that, we have the Houston Texans, our state neighbors, who's ready to tear our face off. And then we got our hated rivals, the Washington Commanders, who Dan Quinn would love nothing more than to beat us by 50. Yeah. So what are, like you said, what are we playing for? I hear Jerry before the game talking about we're looking, we might be buyers in the free agent market. We better not be. We have to. We either gonna stand put or sell.
Yeah. For what? I hear you.
Right.
Why would you be buyers in this situation?
There's
unless
absolutely
you're gonna get 11 players, you're gonna sign 11 new guys. Yeah.
So
sell sign is in the yard.
it only makes sense if you want to have Cooper Rush out there for game one to try to make it look, for whatever reason.
But are you trying to show the fan base that you're still fighting? Is that what it is? Is that what you mean for whatever reason?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm only one little small portion of the fan base, but you ain't got to do that for me.
Hey man, because with Dak, I'm still feeling the same way because Dak hasn't performed, and it's on Dak, and it's also on these play designs, this play calling. We're straight line, rarely crossing the middle. It's tough to watch, man, because I think you called it. I mean, some of these plays is little league, man. I mean, it's the same stuff that.
It's not a lot to it, man.
Yeah,
not a lot to it, man.
It's tough, and then when we do motion, we motion and set, and let the defense react to it instead of motion and quick motion and let them react on the fly, and we might get somebody out of position like we did against Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, we definitely did some things, but I look back at these games and like the the games that you think about the Cleveland game. Who was you going against at quarterback? Justin Fields. Some of these games that we have had some success in. I'm thinking more on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm with you.
We just we needed some help from that side, from an offensive guy like that. But it's
you are absolutely right, man.
Yeah, it's at the time, Cowboy fans, where we've got to start thinking about this year is not going to materialize the way we do. Where can we look at for our positioning where we can get in that draft? No, seriously, man. No. I looked at it now, and we would be a top 10.
Hey, that's what we want. But I'm laughing because you spoke of the quarterback. I said, let me see. Oh, we've beaten Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, and Deshaun Watson.
Right, man.
And we've lost to Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Purdy, and now Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And as bad as it was when Dan Quinn and everybody walked off the field and everybody was just talking about how bad Dan Quinn was and that defense, I think some people will want to have him back. Some people want to have him back. I was just looking at last 3 season takeaways, 93 of them, best in the NFL. Points per games allowed in 3 years, 19.9. Fifth best in the league.
But let's be fair. He also had years with both DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons coming off the edge. We haven't had them coming off the edge since prior to Pittsburgh. So, I mean, the pass rush is not there to rush the quarterback or force him into some bad throws.
Right.
So I give you that much grace with what's going on.
But then you also have to give him his just and look at it on the other side and be like, hey, he played pretty much a whole year without Trayvon Diggs. You know what I mean? So he's had his injuries that he's had that he was able to maneuver, but man, that's a big jump, man. Hey, you seen how we was jumping up and high fiving when we got that fumble? I don't remember last time we had got a turnover. So I just go to say that like, you know, sometimes, you know, you wishing for coaches and stuff, and Dan Quinn has had some success here. So I'm just playing what devil's advocate, just basically saying,
absolutely.
you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, you think the grass may be green on the other side, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I don't know if this defense could have helped. His defense could have helped us this year because we did a lot of that when teams were forced to pass. If they were ground and pound on us from the beginning, we were in the dirt. But
Right.
you
But
know,
it makes it such a landslide or a roller coaster ride when you have an offense that was able to pick
Yes,
it
sir.
up and help us like
Absolutely.
that last year by
Absolutely.
getting out
That's
and
my
blowing
point.
teams out.
That's my point. So they had to rely on the pass game, which gave us more opportunities. So, but our offense is just and that's the thing. We didn't have any coaching changes besides the dang offensive line. You know, any major change besides the offensive line coach from the
Running
offensive
back.
side.
I think maybe running back coach maybe changed too.
Okay.
But not a lot. Not a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it still falls underneath Mike McCarthy.
That's my
You know
point.
what I mean?
He's the offensive coordinator. He's the play caller.
I will say this though. I don't think Mike McCarthy is a bad coach. I just think Mike McCarthy, for this situation with the Cowboys, being under Jerry, and I don't see him as being that guy that's going to be confrontational, that he's going to stand up in a meeting with the Joneses and say, "Damn it, this is what we doing."
Jerry
You brought me in here to be the head coach.
He wouldn't hire anybody like that. That's why we get these reruns and guys who are just so grateful for the opportunity. You know, they like whatever you need. I'm just happy to be here. Let me to coach this team.
Yeah. So that's a great way to segment into this other thing I wanted to discuss, and that's the whole thing with the Ezekiel Elliott. So I think it was James Slater from the NFL came out and reported that there's some issues going on inside the Cowboys building with Ezekiel Elliott. From what the report is, and what I've heard about this lady who's reporting, is that she's always on point. If she says something that gives you something, you can take it to the bank. So what she's saying is that Ezekiel Elliott is missing multiple meetings or being late to meetings, hasn't showed up to some meetings. I think his emotions is just, I just think he's not happy. He's not happy. And if this has been going on for multiple weeks, and, you know, we're just now hearing about it, why is the disciplinary action just coming down now? You know, how does that affect your young guys when this is the guy who is supposed to be looked at as a leader? I'm just wondering if there's more to the story, and if there's more that'll come out, and maybe by the end of the week, if we hear that Zeke is no longer with us. I think it could come to that. I'll give you your thoughts on that.
I mean, I would hope to believe that it's something more than this because let's be clear. I mean, Zeke has had opportunities. I mean, it's not like we weren't going to give him the ball 10, 15 times anyway. I mean, he hasn't been that type of rusher in a few years now. We saw that with New England last year, and so I don't think it was. I'm trying to figure out what he was told coming here. Was he told he was going to get the ball? Was he told he was going to be the man? Because I didn't want. I was not happy about him coming back because he's a step slow. He's not that guy that he was in 16, 17, where he's breaking tackles and he's eating after the first downs.
Right.
He's not that guy, man. And Jerry just he has his guys and he just pacifies and just wants to coddle and bring. There was no reason for him to come back, man.
Yeah, I think once you turn the page on something like that, you have to go ahead and just live with your decision. Yes. Now, I mean, he'll always be remembered as a Dallas Cowboy.
Yes.
So I'm not understanding that either. But it just to me, it's a shadow of the type of things that I think that are going on inside that building. You know, and then Coach Mike McCarthy was just talking briefly about Deuce Vaughn, and the question was about, you know, how does he feel about not being able to get him more action and stuff. And he just was talking about the younger players, and it seems like from what he was saying, like he's always for playing younger players, and this probably wasn't his decision to play Zeke.
But why was Jerry talking about, well, Zeke has been great and all of that? Man, be real with us.
Right.
If Zeke is missing practices and he needs to be disciplined, say that.
Well, one thing that
Call him out.
One thing I think, Coach, we can say from just this season, and we've had multiple years with Jerry, a lot of years with Jerry, but Jerry doesn't own up to stuff, especially if it's something that it's like his decision, because I know it was his decision that want to bring Zeke back. Absolutely. And so since it's his decision, when it comes time to fall on the sword,
oh yeah,
my man, he don't want to lay down.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to take that.
Mm-hmm.
He don't want to take that. But those are the kind of things that I think that are just with the head coaching. You know, you probably should have got off that, you know what I'm saying, last year when you had the opportunity. Go on and move on from it. Bring somebody else in. And then if it had been this kind of year when we would have been saying this is a grooming year, the coach is trying to get himself acclimated, new players, new system, it can be a little bit more understandable than a team that just won 12 games that look like you might not be able to win 7 this year.
Tough. No, and that's real, man.
Yep.
And we keep on bringing back old guys.
Right.
Zimmer is an old guy. I was one who was like, I was excited for Zimmer because I knew what he did a few years ago when he was still coaching, but he was out of the game a year or two. Same with Mike McCarthy when we hired him. He was out of the game a year or two.
Yep.
And
He was out the game. I even remember watching the show that they had, and they was talking about how Mike McCarthy had set up at his home, this ranch, and he had made it into like a football headquarters and had all these old coaches coming in, and they were analytic.
Coaches.
They were now analytic guys.
Old coaches.
Right. Old coaches who were now analytic guys, and they had figured this thing out. And, you know, he went in there and sold those Joneses and got the job. But he hasn't been terrible. He's had 12-win seasons. He just hasn't been able to get over the hump, winning the big game, as some other coaches hasn't been able to in Dallas. And he's not been able to manage the game well. That has been the biggest thing we have with Mike. Mike has not been able to – his management of the game has been very detrimental to our team. But I think the players, you know, I think he's a guy that I think the players like. You know what I mean? I don't think it's been anything there. It's just sometimes it just you've had your stay. You had your run, and now I believe that it's time for us to move on to something else. I ask you this.
We always a day late and a dollar short.
I like that.
Freaking peas.
My guy, I ask you this because I'm about ready to start looking at these boards and these looking at these college teams. I got to see something. I got to find a defensive tackle. I got to look at them D tackles. I got to look at the wide receivers.
And it's crazy you say that because we're not looking for them in the free agency. We got to get everything in the draft.
Some things we are hand strapped as long as there's a Jones that's over top of this organization, man. He's going to do it his way.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Would it be more to our advantage to get rid of somebody to get some draft picks since we don't like to sign the mid to upper free agents? Should we trade like Vach heard say trade a DeRon Bland where he's still on his rookie contract and we could get what, maybe a third, maybe a second, I don't know. Or Osa.
That's hard, Coach. I really would have to give some thought to it. You got me on the fly there. Because I just hate being a guy that would want to give away talent that's in the building.
We're not giving it away, but, I mean, it's going to leave.
I mean, lockdown corners do you get on a rookie contract?
Yeah, but what's he going to fetch from that open market?
You're going to get something.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to get something, but then you're
it.
still going to have the whole of, you know, what you're going to – next year you're rolling out with Carson and Diggs. You have Carson played well enough where you feel like you can go that direction with the reins.
He was not bad when he at the beginning of the year. You know, this past week they picked on him.
He looked like a rookie.
Yeah. So
like a rookie with promise.
And now he's going to still get these 10 games, the rest of the season, or was it 9 games now?
Yeah.
To really work on his craft and hone his craft and get the experience, needed.
Yeah.
Heck, your boy gave him the 21, so he must think something of him.
Man chose the 21. You think they handed him out like that? That's tough, man.
21 is a big number, man.
Don't do that to Prime, man.
21 is a big number, especially for a cornerback in Dallas.
It is.
So,
I just would say probably about the tenure of the time that he played. And maybe that's why it was so easy to give up the 21 jersey. But dang, that's tough. That's tough. Cowboy family, this is tough. This is tough, man. But we ain't going nowhere. This is what we do. This is what we do.
If y'all been riding with the boys for a while, we done had these seasons.
Yeah.
In the 2000s, we done had these, buddy.
Yeah, we're going to lick our wounds. We're going to figure out something. I tell you, though, I really believe, though, y'all get some thought to what we're saying about Trey Lance. You know what I mean? If we're going to be out here watching and rooting for these guys, at least give us something to look at. Give us something to be like, hey, man, this could be promising, because he ended up having a bunch of picks in that last preseason game, but he looked good. He did look good. And, two, if that line going to be as terrible as it is, it'd be nice to have a guy with some feet. And a guy that can make some plays on his own.
That's real. That's real.
Cowboys family, that is it for this week. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to get ready to go into week 10. Like I said, man, it is what it is, but just try to squeeze a positive out of whatever you can. Coach T, take us out, baby.
First of all, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We really appreciate all the views. We see the views. If you're watching it, hit that like. It doesn't take much to do that. We appreciate it for sure. And hey man, the sun is gonna keep on shining. The day is gonna keep on turning. So don't let this stress you out. You know, it is what it is. We Cowboys fans. We
Some
used
good times for you.
yeah.
We out, Cowboy Nation.
All right, one love. Man.
We out, baby. Peace.